It dropped right in.
There's a lot of love in the room.
I can also do it like this if you'd like.
Are we going to bring in a British lady?
Actually, if you want to do it this way, and I could be like your co-host from across the pond, that's totally fine as well. We can totally do that.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Does that work?
Let's try to keep this show on the rails.
No.
Why would you want to do that,
Brian
Brian?
never
I'm
loves
joking.
that.
You know when it flies off the handle, I love it. I'm going to turn my phone completely off.
Okay, we're doing it.
All right.
You all ready?
Yeah.
Welcome to Silicon Valley Impact, where business insight meets startup innovation. Brought to you live from Silicon Valley, California. Please give a warm welcome to your host, Brian Sparks.
It never gets old. Brian, way to bring in the show. We've got a great show. Yeah, it's appropriate.
For no reason whatsoever, Brian, except that I love you and I'm stoked to be here. So thank you.
And the feeling is mutual.
Thank
and
you,
of course,
Brian.
and of course, I want to welcome everybody to Silicon Valley Impact. I'm your host, Brian Sparks. The purpose of this show is to have honest conversations about what it takes to build great businesses and communities so that you can make an impact within your own.
Brian! Brian!
Fans. Okay, you in the back, you need to sit down. Okay. All right, so we got a great show for you today. We've got AJ in the house, Shelly and Kelley. You guys...
Wow, you are so eager.
I'm right into it.
You are so
I'm
eager.
just so quick to
There
get...
is no stopping you. Like, there is nothing happening in the world. And you guys, the three of you, should be just very proud of yourselves that you've come in here and commanded his attention this way.
I mean.
Yeah, and deservedly so.
Yeah.
Brian's nervous. I know. He launches when he's nervous. You guys have him on his heels.
I just can't control myself.
He's a little bit starstruck today.
In 3, 2, 1.
Go.
Brian!
Okay, go.
All right,
Leave you
so-
alone. We don't have to talk. I'm not here. I'll just let you go.
No,
man.
Brian.
No. I don't even want to talk to you at this point. Let's launch.
Brian, listen to me.
No, I won't
Lock eyes
listen
with
to
me.
you.
Lock
I
eyes with me,
shan't.
Brian.
I shan't listen.
All right, so as we work out everything that's going on for today, I want to also remind all our audience that we got a lot of stuff coming on. And AJ, you're part of this. So chime in on one of these here. So number one, we're partnering with TechCrunch. We're a sponsor. Silicon Valley Impact is a sponsor this year.
TechCrunch Disrupt.
Nice, dude.
Yeah. And so TechCrunch Disrupt, we are a sponsor. And if you want to get your 20% discount tickets, you can check out the promo code in the show notes. We are also having an after party. AJ, you're going to be there as a venture partner.
In the show notes.
Yeah, there is an after party at Workwise, so check out that. Also, you can get discount codes there, and I'm super excited. Brian and I,
Yes.
the Brian and I will be out at Opal from October
Napa.
22nd to the 24th. So if you want to get involved with wealth management, family offices, it's a great event to go out to. We'll be interviewing all their spectacular speakers. We're calling it the Opal Spotlight. So look for that show coming up in November. And then, AJ, you and I are doing the IIT conference.
Yes, we are.
Shashish was in here and was just phenomenal.
He is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Such a great human being, too.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't listened to that episode, you should.
Good dude, and connected to the smartest, most incredible people in the world, right? I mean, just totally connected that dude.
And it's
Definite ambitious vibe.
I mean, he mentioned that he might have us there too, right? Silicon Valley Impact might also go there.
That's not a might.
yeah.
That's a for sure.
thing.
Road trip, Brian
This
and AJ.
is Silicon Valley Impact.
Can't say it enough. All right, so look for the information for the IIT conference.
That's what you get for ignoring me first.
Let me have it, Brian.
Now
Let me
it's
have
just
it.
going to be
all good.
relentless.
You can go to IIT2026.org for more information. Check out the lineup of speakers. We have Guy Kawasaki. He'll be showing up. Past speakers have been Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, the Dalai Lama. The list goes on and on.
And on and on.
Yeah. Brian, I see you.
I mean, you just mentioned the Dalai Lama, and I was pointing over there, but I think you got some new shoes. Which, if I'm weighing the two out, the Dalai Lama and your shoes, I mean, I don't know. It's difficult.
These are my jam now, Brian.
Yeah. Oh,
What
they
is
look.
this? What's your shoe game?
I don't remember.
Cole Haan.
Oh, Cole Hans.
Are they?
Okay.
Jeffrey.
I'd imagine.
Okay, I don't remember.
Jeffrey.
From the look of them.
Yeah, online. I got
Well
them
done,
online.
Brian.
Thank you.
Nice work.
All right. Also want to give a shout out to Stack Ventures and the Agentic Big Partners, Startup Grind, and of course Transform. Okay, what now? What am I doing? Am I just like off on everything?
No. I'm telling you, you shouldn't have ignored me at the beginning. But now, are you reading or are you not reading? From
No,
your screen?
okay. Do you want to see
I
what
can't
I'm
tell
looking-
if you're
I just
reading
have
or if you're
bullet
not
points.
reading. Yeah, but
Bullet points.
yeah,
Remind me.
okay. But it looks like you're prompted by something on your screen. But then last week you told me that you were not.
No,
reading from
I was
your
in
screen.
I was in.
You're
the
doing
group.
this free form.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
it's
Got
kind of
it.
the eyes rolled back and I was in my zone. Yeah,
You're freestyling.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
That's how I roll.
And when your eyes roll back, it just appears as though you're looking at the
I'm
screen.
in my nothing box and my mouth is.
I'm going to leave you
moving.
alone now. I can tell. I've had my share. I'm going to let you go.
All right, let's get on with the show. Again, we have 3 powerhouse women in the house today. I'm going to let them introduce themselves to the audience because, again, I really appreciate all 3 of you being here. And come to find out, all 3 of you are like super close friends. And you were just chatting it up. hugging.
Secretly friends.
We're secret friends.
All right, so
Just kidding.
All day, every day.
Kelly, I'll start with you. Go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience and what are you working on?
Yes, well, glad to be here today. Kelly Steven-Waiss. I am a Chief Transformation Officer at ServiceNow, which is a very nebulous title. What does she do? Workforce and digital transformation for our customers. And I came to ServiceNow through the acquisition of my company, Hitch, which was acquired by ServiceNow in June of 22, which was a HR tech platform for internal talent marketplace and skills intelligence. But prior to that, because now I'm a recovering CHRO, I was a CHRO for 13 years in technology in the Valley. And more importantly, I sit on a couple boards. Okay, that's interesting, but I have 4 kids. So go moms.
Yeah.
Which I know my fellow colleagues here are moms as well. And I live in Los Gatos, which is a great town.
Hometown hero.
Brian's the mayor of Los Gatos.
Yeah.
Wink, wink. All right. Well, Kelly, it's awesome to have you here today. Definitely going to do some dive in on your journey and what is that transformational officer really mean. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday about this new approach, and Transform's been talking about this too, is what does that AI officer look like? Who's leading that charge? I'm wondering if that's been kind of dropped in your lap from time to time. But I don't know. We'll press on and see what happens from this conversation. It'll be interesting to find out what that Chief Transformation Officer does, because I know you're really immersed in that organization.
Is it my turn?
It's your go time. Shelly, I just feel like I just looked to you and you can
I'm
just
like,
light it up.
hey.
Everybody knows Shelly.
So,
Yes.
I'm Shelly Morales. I live in San Jose. I have 4 kids, 2 dogs, 2 cats, a lizard, and a husband.
Oh.
Ooh.
Husband came last.
Yeah, exactly. After the lizard.
He does say, we've been married a long time, you guys. And he says, I saved the best for last. He's not wrong. He's a beautiful human. I professionally was a chief people officer. I was in HR leadership roles for 2.5, almost 3 decades. 3 years ago, I decided that I really wanted to have a bigger impact on people's lives than I could if I was in one company doing one specific role. So I founded MoralesHR, and what we do is search everything from executive level search to individual contributors across all industries, levels, and professions. And that is just giving me so much joy and energy. My kids range from 30 to 16, and my 3 adult children all work for me. So that also really is a fabulous
amazing.
place to be.
Yeah.
And then that Morales HR work led me to be on the founding team for an agentic AI startup that's building technology with humanity in mind, which I think is something that we all need to be thinking about these days. So that's me, and these are my beautiful friends, and I'm super excited to be here with them.
Nice.
of course.
Yeah. Yeah. We're just going to
And
turn it
you
over to you
too.
guys. Yeah, we're just going to turn it over to you guys in a minute. AJ,
Hi.
good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, good to see you too. I'm glad to be a friend of the show and just chiming in here.
Yeah, you definitely are. I think this is your, 3rd or 4th time being on the show?
I don't know, but it's been a minute. I should have like a punch card, like a loyalty card for
You do.
every time I come on, and then I get my own
And then you get
latte or something
and
after.
then eventually you get your own Silicon Valley Impact jacket. Oh. Yeah, like after
got
it's part of the
jackets?
5 Timers
I
Club.
think all guests should get a Silicon Valley jacket.
I like the inclusion of
I
that.
thought, AJ, you donate something every time you're here. A phone.
I do. I leave my
the
dignity.
camera, yeah. Good. So for those, because our audience is growing, so for those who
Yes.
haven't joined us previous in our previous episode. Give a little quick introduction about what you're working on.
Sure. Okay, so AJ Thomas, I work at that intersection of talent, culture, and technology. We have a lot of things in common in the HR space, but one thing I'm known for is every job I've been in, I've never done before, including the jobs that I hold now, which actually aren't jobs, it's just what I do. I run a founder and team accelerator called the Troublemaker Lab. So we work across all spaces of from small startups to business unit in large enterprises, helping with transformation at the leadership level, at the intersection of self, health, and wealth for that leader. And then also have a wonderful fund that I have the opportunity of helping bring to life as a founder and general partner of GoodTrouble Ventures, where we invest in technology and creativity across all mediums of film, TV, music, the infrastructure powering the creator economy, and sports and gaming.
And you have three children.
Well, okay, so I have to qualify this. So I would say I have 4 kids. My oldest is 43.
Okay.
Kidding.
Poor Mike. Mike, shout out to Mike.
Hey, Mike. No, so I have 3 kids ranging from all 5 years apart. So I have somebody in kindergarten. That's my youngest son. Then I have my middle son who is in elementary school. And then I have a high schooler, which is my girl. So
okay.
Yeah.
So here's where I'm going to go with this, because I'm completely fascinated how all of you manage all the projects you have going on and stay grounded as mom. I mean, it's a time management thing, right? Because I mean, AJ, you are doing so much, Kelly, and Shelly.
There's a man behind this woman.
yes.
That's there is a man.
I think that's the
behind
theme.
this
Kelly
woman.
giving it, shout out to the man in the background. Okay, I love it.
Well, shout out to Vincent.
But what is? I mean, I gotta ask, because I think time management is a great quality for those who succeed and do well, right? Especially those who manage relationships to have this balance. But I mean, I know you guys have a lot of experience in HR, building companies, relationships. But I've got to know this, crack this code, because I think our audience, who are founders, they're managing their time. And so how do you guys, I mean, just kind of top of mind, we won't sit on this for too long, but how do you do it?
I have one phrase: you can have it all, but you can't have it all at once. And so for me, I was never going to give up being a mom. That was a non-starter, but I was really ambitious. And so I just said, look, there's going to be times where, yeah, it'd be great to climb the ladder, or that next role looks really interesting, but you know, I'm going to have a baby this year, and that's probably not wise to try to go after that. And then at times, you know, I was really careful about who I worked for. And a lot of the managers or leaders that I worked for were family first or very supportive. So it was just a non-issue. Yeah. I never thought about it. And then when I was 42 and I had the last one, which is a whole nother story, but in the hallways, people would stop me because I was the CHRO of the company and I was the only female VP at the time. And they'd say, you know, it's really inspiring that you're like pregnant and having a baby. It's like, makes us feel like it's totally possible. We can rise and we can have a baby.
Good for you.
So
I love it.
I mean, I think there's this notion, I want to offer a reframe. I'm very big on like words, right? Because it crafts intention. You talk about time management. I think a reframe of like, how do you lead time versus how do you manage time? And one of my colleagues previously, shout out to Aman Qatari, previously at Yahoo, and I worked with him at 10X. He said when he got into his first really big leadership role, they asked him, how do you manage all these hundreds of people that are in your organization? He said, I don't manage, I lead. And I think it's the same with time. Time is also a resource. And how do we think about how we spend our time? A lot of comments that I get, especially as a mom, and by the way, it's also not working mom, it's mom working, right?
Yeah.
To Kelly's point, is, gosh, you're so busy. You're doing so much. And before that used to really get at me and irk me a little bit, because it's like, okay, that's great. But now when I hear that, it's like, actually, thank you for noticing. I'm in alignment with what I want to do. And that is why I can choose to spend the time where I want to. And it just seems like I'm getting a lot done, but it's actually, I'm getting to be able to lean into the things that I want to lean in. It's not even passion. It's just, you feel a purpose-driven thing to lean into it. And then it all just starts weaving together.
Yeah,
So.
you start to connecting the dots, and then energy is not so displaced.
Exactly.
Where that's where the energy can be drained.
Yeah.
It's like your attention is split over here, much like what Kelly was saying is that she would just lock in, right? Maybe not now, but later. Similar. I'm kind of paraphrasing, but it's finding that priority and the connectivity that allows you to be congruent with your actions.
And be okay with people going, wow, you just seem like you're all over the place. If you know yourself that you are leaning into your purpose and what you want to be able to do, it doesn't really matter if people think you're all over the place.
It's a flow. You're in flow.
You're in flow.
But can I say something to that too? Is because I think people have this concept that we're like superhuman or super mom, that term super mom. And boy, if you saw the sausage factory.
Super
behind
tired
the
mom.
scenes.
No one's allowed in my house.
Super
just to be
tired.
clear.
Super overextended emotionally. So it's not, there's no perfect in this. It's hard. You give up social time, you bring store-bought cupcakes that you ripped off the label and threw it on your plate.
Oh my God, I just did that this weekend for my
So
son's
it's like
birthday.
there are methods
Yeah.
to, but there's no perfection in this. But I love what you said about intention. There's an intention to be a great mom and to be a great leader. And I think it's also important to really love what you do.
Yeah.
And when you love what you do,
Yeah.
it really helps, right,
Shows.
Shelly?
I would 100% agree. Like I love every single day. Like I feel so blessed. I have an amazing family. I have multiple jobs, and people are like, I don't know how you do it. I'm like, you just do. But I will say for me, like people will say, Shelly, you know everyone. Like, how do you know everyone? And that's because I'm intentional about my connections and my being with people and helping people. And I ask for help when I need it. And the same was true when my children were young. Like I have a network, happens to be my mother and father-in-law live very close to us. So like I had that family network to help us. But I have taken that experience through my entire career, and that's how I can do all the things that I do.
I love how you emphasized, I love what I do, because I ask that question all the time. What is it that you're doing that you love so much, and why? And I think when you're networking and you have a big network, you're not doing it because you're looking to extract some sort of asset. I do it. What I'm feeling is I do it because I love people.
Yeah.
I love the connectivity.
I will actually say, like, I don't call what I do networking.
Yeah.
I call it connecting. I go to many different events from investor meetings to like just the kids, like the football game. And I'm always talking to people, and I don't care who they are or what they do or what their job is or how much money they make. I'm like, what are you doing? What lights you up? What keeps you busy? There's always something that we can do for each other or with each other. And so that's my approach.
Just to love on Shelly for a little bit.
Which I'm piling.
We're going to pile on Shelly for a little bit here, because I think she is the one person that I've met here in the Valley that has been consistent in a way that when she's speaking to you and asking you and getting curious about what lights you up, you feel like you're the only person in the world she's talking to.
Yeah.
And then it's not like that one interaction though. It's like, it'll be 3 months later, 2 weeks later, or 2 days later. There's somebody who's like, I met this person and you guys just need to be connected. Like she pays attention to how it's connection, right? And I think that's very rare, especially for all of the things.
And
that you're
genuinely
involved in.
loving people,
Oh,
because
absolutely.
the difference between networking and connecting is, because I love that the person that calls you after 15 years and they need a reference
Yeah.
and they haven't quote networked, they say, but they need something. You don't look for that exchange of value. Your value is actually genuinely in loving people. And so it makes you phenomenal at what you do also. But I agree, like when Shelly says she's going to help you, because there's lots of people that say, oh yeah, I'll help you. I'll make that intro.
Yeah.
They never follow through.
Now, in fairness, I forget a lot. Like I try to take really good notes, but my intent is always good.
No,
So if I forget,
always
y'all
good.
remind
By the way,
me.
she connected Kelly and I.
Yeah, we wouldn't have known each other.
So we wouldn't have known each other without that. And Kelly's been an amazing just like mentor and guide from the side for me, where I was like, I'm starting this one. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And she's like, let me wrap my arms around you around that. And then I
So-
all of us.
So
Book
for
reading and
our
lots of others.
audience, listening to this. And by the way, Shelly, the tissue's right there because they were
I know.
saying
I literally did almost make me cry. Like it does. Yes, I'm grateful.
But
Thank you.
I think it's validating because you put your heart into this. And for those of you who are listening, you're kind of getting an inside perspective of what it means to be a really good connector, because it's meaningful. It's not just transactional. And that's where the rarity comes from, because people, I mean, with Tech Week going on right now, you go to 100 events beep, beep, and it's like people are just bouncing around. Yeah. Beep, 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 plugging in, let's connect, whatever. And it's not really that next layer that is described with the way Shelly does it.
There's a magic to it too. Like, it is about the connection and the introduction, but it's about the follow-up. And always I am here for anyone at any time. My phone number and email is literally out there. If anyone needs me, I'm here. And when I meet people at events, I make every effort to make sure that I have contact information, not just a LinkedIn connection. I have contact information. And within 2 or 3 days, I'm following up saying, let's find time.
Yeah. And that I always feel like I could do better, right? I have this love of people almost to a fault, and then I can't follow through.
Then you shouldn't go to those events.
Right. But
That's my new motto.
Yeah, because otherwise it's too much. But I think the intention of really connecting versus making it transactional or superficial, I think that also kind of falls into mentorship too. You can't accept being a mentor for 35 people and do it well. You can only sponsor so many. So
I will say too, and this probably will take us down a different path, which is in the world that we live in today, we all know that technology is progressing faster than we have ever expected it would. It is creating more time, yet more concern for people. And I think that this human connection and our opportunity to spend time with each other and help each other is more and more important every single day.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Brian, I got to say, 15 minutes in the show, we've already talked about time management, authenticity, networking, boundaries, priorities. I think this is the show I expected.
Yeah,
I was wondering now that he just rattled all that stuff off. He didn't have bullets.
I'm still hoping to get back to square one, where we learn what a transformation officer does.
Yeah, so that's where
I mean, this is very important, and I think there's a huge takeaway here. I also just want to point out, you guys are obviously really good at this, and I think that there's a little bit of nature to that, and it's not entirely something that everybody's really good at. There was something you were born with that was a God-given skill or ability, right? And I think there's something to be said for that, because some of us struggle to be able to be as fluid and easy with those kinds of with those skill sets or those abilities.
I would say, Brian, that I find that because I just meet, I will talk to literally anyone. I can feel it when they're like, oh no, she's talking to me. What do I do? And then those are the people I lean in even more heavily to. Let's find time later.
That's great.
Because
good for
it's the
you.
one-on-one stuff.
Good for you for having the ability to recognize that, because I think there's a lot of really interesting, talented, educated, creative people that don't have that ability to be as socially capable. And so for any of those who are listening, these are exceptional people. They've been doing this for a long time. You guys make it sound like it's really easy, but sometimes other people have, a little bit of a struggle.
Well, I think empathy can be developed. And whether you're a founder or you're a leader of an organization, whatever it may be, your CHRO, your whatever capacity you are out there in the audience of Silicon Valley Impact, empathy can be a muscle built by listening, by letting go of what you think you know about somebody, asking questions in a genuine way to understand. I think it can be flexed, because you can then create the map of how someone else is thinking. That's how a lot of these founders actually succeed or fail going to market, is they don't understand the pain at which they're trying to address. They think they just got a good idea, here are all the features, and then they miss the mark. So that's from the founder's perspective, but from a CHRO's perspective or anyone else in this industry, I still think it can be learned. I think on the back end, all three of these women are high energy, enthusiastic. Now, maybe we're not all built like that, but you can develop that empathy muscle where you come across as genuine and relationships are built.
Sure.
Yeah. I think it's
agreed.
Presence and curiosity, at least like what I've seen, that's been really the that's allowed me to open up. I mean, yes, I'm a pretty open person, but even more open to going a little bit deeper, right?
Yeah.
Because when you're outgoing, you're literally talking to everybody, and you run the risk of being a mile wide and an inch deep with everyone, which is hard because that's networking, right?
Yeah.
But how do you want to be really deep and substantial? It is that follow up, and you're not. The price of admission to a really good follow up is that you're present and you're curious.
Yeah.
And I think like if we boil it down to that essence, it can be more accessible. Because I have seen people that are opposite from our personalities do this really, really well too.
Yeah.
I think that curiosity component is really important.
Yeah.
I think people should let their curiosity shine because everybody's curious. They're thinking it for sure.
Yeah.
It's just hard to let it out sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, for
All right.
sure.
So I got to ask, Kelly, you're Chief Transformation Officer. You built a company. That company was acquired. Give us kind of a run up of that journey, what that was like, and what got you into this space, and what are some of the high level takeaways from that entire journey? Because it never goes away within somebody. So I think what your insight will allow is continue to motivate people in that cycle.
Well, I'll tell you, we were talking about listening. I think listening, connecting dots, seeing problems as opportunities, that's sort of the groundswell for being an entrepreneur in so many ways. And I think, what journey that I was on was that I saw a problem that nobody was solving. And I was feeling it as a CHRO. So what problem was I seeing? I was seeing people leave the company and crossing the street in the valley for the next job because they didn't feel seen, valued, and heard. I saw managers feeling like they were kind of crappy managers because they couldn't send people for development or training because all the incentives said, get the work done, don't develop people. And so I just saw all these problems, and I said, if I could build something from the ground up with no constraints, and I gave myself that liberty, not what tech do we already have that I have to use, but like, what would I build? And that was the catalyst to what became Hitch. And the other part of it was being brave to say, yeah, I'm not a software engineer, but I'm a good talent architect. So I can put really great people on this, and I can inspire, use the charisma, use the creativity to inspire people on this mission of this problem we're going to solve. And that became a company, and that company created value, and that company got acquired by ServiceNow. And then bring me to, what was I after in the beginning? I was after transforming business models and making it work for people. And when I think about the transformation role, that role is really about listening. What are the problems and opportunities in this organization? Some of it has to do with tech, but if tech solved everything, we'd just buy technology and all go home, right? But it's people, it's process, and it's technology. And so my job is to go in, understand, listen, what are the problems and opportunities in this organization, and how do we empower technology to serve those outcomes? And some of it, again, goes back to people, some goes back to process. And so it's not one size fit all. I don't go to one company and take the same playbook into the other.
So quick question about transformation. I mean, it's a lot more difficult to pivot a larger company like ServiceNow, what it's become, versus the startup when it's, that early stage team and you go, oh, the market's not responding, we're not doing so, and you can kind of course correct. Where's the insight in your journey for those who are listening to making a pivot or a change, whether they're early stage or later stage? How do you right the ship when it's not going right?
So it comes back to people. People don't necessarily like change, but they need to find their why. What is the exchange of value? Where's the cross section between what the company needs to get done and what is most important for that human? And if you can scale that, and often it's pretty simple. I felt that we were living in this scarcity versus abundance mindset in the organization. And I'll go back to the Hitch example, right? People felt not seen, valued, and heard. They were living in scarcity. And the company's models were all built on constraints. And so if I can figure out how to find people's motivations, what do they aspire to do, and then connect that to what does the company aspire to do and find the exchange of value. And if I could do that, then I can turn leaders from, oh my God, I only have 30 people and I only have, $500,000 to, wow, I can tap into the enterprise of talent and I can get all my work done. That light bulb went off because it was about abundance strategy as opposed to scarcity. Yeah. So
that's good. So Shelly, double click on that. So Kelly's talking a lot about finding the right talent, plugging in the right people. First, give us a little run up of how you landed now with your company, what that journey like, but then click on that talent. Like when you see the right people, what are some of those qualities that fit like a puzzle into the right place? What are you looking for?
So I landed in owning a recruiting company because as a chief people officer, when I think about the things that we do in that function, which has evolved like there's no tomorrow, like what used to be like personnel turned into almost therapist over the years. Like when I think about recruiting overall, I think recruiting itself is just fundamentally broken. We're taking a very human experience and we are over automating it. I'm the biggest fan of tech. I think we should use it all day long and nobody should say, oh, it's going to go away, because it's not. But it is getting a job and
it's very personal,
being
right?
a job is a human experience. So when I look at that, I said, okay, what's missing? What's missing is as people are auto-applying, they're never speaking to somebody. Many very, very talented people are just rejected without ever seeing anyone. And I jokingly say I'm unemployable. I didn't go to college. I'm never getting a job again. And so I looked at that and I said, we want to take care of the humans. So we created this community. And the funniest thing about this, you guys, is I know that people like me. I know that I'm fun. I know people want to hang out. And when we launched the community, I was like, oh no, who's going to want to be in my community?
When you say community, just kind of bring it
what
up
I mean by that.
Yeah, what do you mean?
Yeah. I mean, so what my perspective was, if we have a place where people can come and talk to us before there's ever a job, the Morales HR community is just that. Join. There isn't necessarily a job specifically. The first week we had 5 people join. This is 2 years ago. We have almost 5,000 now, from CEOs to admins to engineers and everything across the board. And every single person that joins has the opportunity to speak to somebody live. So we learn about them and who they are long before there's ever a job, and not necessarily what's just on their profile and resume.
It's a relationship.
It is about relationships and how does it feel intrinsically to have somebody speak to you instead of just applying.
And do you feel that personal touch draws the best talent to you?
It draws the best talent to us for a couple of reasons, because people are tired of this automated, I just have to click the button, nothing happens.
Yeah.
But the experience, the intrinsic experience that they have, that they then tell their friends about. That's how we grew from the first week 5 and now 5,000.
So I'm thinking again from the perspective of our audience. We have a growing audience, as you know, with Transform.
I love Transform.
Yeah,
it's a great.
Shout out to Samara.
Samara shopping.
Yeah, she's been on the show. Okay, and so we have a growing demographic of people who are from Transform and talent HR space. Majority of our audience is startup. And so when those early stage founders are looking for talent, what is kind of their best play to finding the best talent from your experience? So
let me just do 2. Let me just lean in on one other piece about Morales HR, which is it's about the people that are in the community. We do traditional search outreach as well, past those 5,000, but it's also how does the company feel about the engagement with recruiting and with outside recruiters, which has typically been very poor, like kind of puppy mill, run people through, charge the companies a lot of money and not have a really good connection all the time. And so what we're seeing is that you don't charge the companies a ton of money, charge them something that's fair, especially in early stage startups. They don't have recruiting teams, or they'll have one person and the next thing you know, they've got 20 roles and they're like, why aren't we hiring anybody? It's because they don't have bandwidth. So where we come in is our approach is different, the very human experience approach, and making sure that the amount that we charge is fair and reasonable to the client, then it's about this unique matching. So when I go out to my network and say, I've got a COO job, yes, we're posting it and we're sharing it in the community, but I'm personally taking this job and saying, ooh, AJ, who do you know?
Yeah.
Kelly, I have this role. And some folks would say, I keep hitting this thing, would say that's not scalable. And I think it's very scalable because we hire very quickly. And so to the founders, I say you have to be thinking about not only what do you need them to do, but what type of person do you want in your company?
Yeah.
It's not scalable.
Well, on the scalability question, it seems like you, again, and I'm going back to something I said earlier, you are very good at this. How are you able to hire others who can do what you do, which seems like a special talent?
I have 13 people on the Morales HR team, so I have hired. I don't do it all on my own.
Yeah, you got 5,000 people in this network. You can't.
And we don't, so I have 5,000 people that either want full-time, part-time, side hustle, might just want to be in the community because they can post jobs. There's like a bunch of different reasons why people join the community. And also because they're hearing really good things. Because my network is so large of recruiters, if my 13 people can't fill the roles, if our roles are too many, we just open it up and we bring more people in to fill them. And so that's how we scale.
Yeah. On that, Brian, I know I forgot to start the clock today, but we got to rip that 30-minute mark. Yeah.
So when we come back, we'll continue this conversation of what it looks like to find talent, whether you're in a startup or become a connector. We'll still tap into the transform environment. We're going to talk about what Shelly and I are doing in the Bay Area with Transform.
Yeah. And
we'll talk a little bit with Kelly about what she's working on now. And AJ, you're going to talk a little bit about possibly GoodTrouble.
I'm actually interested in learning more about the chai officer.
Yeah, let's do
Chief
that.
AI officer.
We're going to talk
like
about
a chai
that.
latte?
Yeah.
Never.
We'll do that when we come back. Brian, take us away.
Wow, okay.
Whenever you are, give me the, yeah.
You're good to go.
We're good to go. All right, and we're live. All right, we're back with Shelly, Kelly, and AJ. We've been talking about a lot of stuff. I'm really going to have to earmark the time here because we've talked everything from CHRO.
You got nothing but time.
I got nothing
Everybody
but time.
listening is completely leaning in and ready for more.
I think the one thing is we all at one point were HR professionals, and none of us are HR professionals anymore. But it's in our blood; it's who we are. And so when we talk about Transform, our connection to Transform, which we'll talk about, is deep. But for founders that are like, oh, but what else? We are actually thinking about this kind of. The work is very broad, and there's not one solution for every founder. So I just wanted to kind of come back to that, Brian. Like the founders need to understand what they're trying to accomplish, and then say, how can I leverage the people around me to get advice, and then they can take that advice and do amazing things with it.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about a lot today. We've talked a little bit about talent, but we've also talked about time management, and there's a lot of moving parts in creating something. And I think when you're resourceful and open to what comes your way, you're in the moment, you're not so rigid and being bounced around.
Present.
In the present, because you can be pulled in multiple directions. And if you're not a founder who is open to what comes at you and resourceful in that space, then you're going to get dragged and probably run out of cash or run out of resources, or just not have the vision to see what you need to connect the dots.
Can I tell you another thing that I see that first-time founders sometimes that are like tech founders will sometimes feel like they need to do it all. And they need to be the tech founder, and they need to be the CEO, and they need to be the decision maker. And the ones that I've seen be extremely successful are the ones who say, I'm actually I'm not this. I'm not the CEO, or I'm not an operator. Can you help me find somebody that's an operator?
Yeah.
Those founders accelerate so much faster because they're not trying to do it all, and they're bringing in the people around them so that they can grow and be successful together.
Yeah, I want to say this for our audience too, and we won't go any further than me just mentioning this. Those of you who are listening, these women are extremely knowledgeable in the talent and HR space, among other things, but they're all they all have experience in investing in startups. So you know what it's like to do your due diligence. You know what it's like to build. So you know what it's like to be on both sides. So I just want our audience to know that little background. We won't unpack it. I know you guys all have moving parts in your life, and we're just here to have fun and just get to know who you are.
That's a whole nother session.
Well, I mean, with everything you're even talking about, the main thread that we all pull on is the humanity that exists at each one of those permutations. Whether you're a startup, whether you're a very deep business unit, whether you are the leader at an enterprise, you're still in front of that human being.
Yep.
And you still have to figure out what makes sense to help them get to whatever is next, right?
Yeah.
And so, now having worked in this founder community, one of the things that I do notice about founders, to your point of, feeling like they have to do everything, is you are so entangled in the why you're doing what you're doing, the how you're doing it, and what you need to deliver, right? It's the why, how, and what that you forget about who is actually doing it. And so I think with the Troublemaker Lab, where we decided to focus was in this intersection of themselves as the founder, their health, and also their wealth of resources, not just financial, because wealth is also time. And so at the cross section of how we accelerate, because we're like, oh, you're an accelerator. Great. Here's my pitch deck. We don't work on any of your product. We work on you so you can work on your product. And I think that's a different nuance. I was at a Tech Week event last night, and they're like, you're an accelerator. Amazing. Do you take pitch decks? I said, well, if you're in the tech and creativity space, we do have a fund. We do invest in that. But the Troublemaker Lab really is about self, health, and wealth. I have a chief medical officer on staff with the lab that actually looks at the health points of you as a founder. Like, how healthy are you to make the big decisions you need to? On the wealth side, we have clients right now that we're working with that just went through an exit, or they are going from Series B to Series C, or, they've just happened upon a significant amount of wealth that they're now like, I'm faced with an existential crisis on my character. And who am I when I have all of these resources now? And when you're building a company, and I think for all of us that are here, we're also founders, you are not thinking about yourself, right?
Yeah,
that's hard.
I'm sort of sitting here in my PTSD moment and thinking about how lonely that job was, because you have moments, hero moments, where you try to, I'm going to save everyone. I'm going to save them from any bad news. They're relying on me. And you feel like, I used to say, and I say it in my book, right, Valley Girls, that you feel the man standing on your chest in the middle of the night, right? That a massive amount of responsibility that you have. I used to say I was responsible for 37 people's families all over the world, and I'd blow it up. But what I love about what AJ's talking about is if you show up better every day, healthy, mentally, physically, it's not about giving everything up for this company that you yourself can't show up.
Yeah.
Because it can't all be about you, but if you go down, the ship goes down with it.
That's right.
And so I think it's so important. If I would have had, and now I have the benefit of having done it once, and just maybe I'll do it again, is what do I need to do to make sure that trifecta that you talk about is healthy?
It's really like the flight attendants tell you, got to put your oxygen mask on first. Take care of yourself, balance
100%.
yourself.
Great
and then
example.
you can help take care of others.
Yeah.
And I think I'm really curious about what it takes to give that on a bigger scale. Because AJ, you're talking about giving it to founders. They come to you saying, hey, I know this is part of the component. But what happens?
Executives too.
Yeah, executives.
Yeah.
But what happens when you have a larger company and it's kind of just, oh yeah, I need that over here, and how do you kind of incorporate that culture of taking care of yourself into a larger company?
So I would say that it really comes down to how you support leaders, because leaders are the ones on the front line of being able to scale that kind of, let's take care of the humans. Because if you try to say Bill McDermott is going to take care of 30,000 people, by even something he says, some program he rolls out. That's just not realistic, right? Because it comes down to when you work for a great leader, they actually care about you as a human being. They see you. They're present when they talk to you. You know, the worst thing I ever had to happen was one of my former bosses saying, "Oh, you have 4 kids?" And I had one of those kids while I was working for that boss.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. We can talk about those
So
war stories.
that meant you don't really know me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Wow moment, right?
Yeah.
Because I was such a different leader. So when you can scale leaders that are present, they really care about people. It gets into who you hire into those leadership
does.
and promote into those leadership roles. And that takes some discipline when you're the size of ServiceNow, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or any big company.
You mentioned it. I'm going to call it out. You mentioned it a little bit earlier. You talked about your book, Valley Girl. Talk a little bit about what your intention was writing that, and kind of what was the premise for.
And there
for
was,
the
thank
book?
you for that, because there was so much intention. Now, part of it was cathartic for me, right? Because there is no bigger roller coaster that you ride than building a company from nothing, commercializing a product, going venture backed, and exiting the whole story. But more importantly, I wanted to encourage female founders to be brave, to bring their ideas to change the world. But I also wanted to demonstrate the reality of it all, that it wasn't glamorous. It wasn't, you know, when people say travel's glamorous and then you actually experience it, you're like, oh no, this is not glamorous. So there is a reality that goes with being a founder that is tough. There are very, very tough moments. You got to be gritty. You got to have a personal board of directors or support system. But I interviewed 30 other female founders across different cultural backgrounds, age groups, and industry. And what I found as I pulled the thread, which I talk about in the book, is nobody's a superhero. Nobody was perfect. Nobody had a perfect story. But we all were so passionate about the problem we were solving that we were going to run, how it was going to change the world, that we were going to run through mountains. And I remember somebody telling me that you don't see the wall as something that blocks you. You're like, how do I get over it? How do I get around it? How do I get under it? That's how you see objection, and that's how you see adversity. And that is 100% what will get you through being a founder.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
You know what's funny is the way that I met Kelley is a dear friend of mine. Her name's Coco Brown, and she is the founder of Athena Alliance, which is a women's community. And she invited me to go to Kelley's book launch. And so that it's just like, it's about this like listening to those around us, bringing people up, bringing people to events, and doing things together, which helps us have the personal board of directors that you mentioned for sure.
I love it. We got to get a copy of Valley Girl in the studio here.
Yes, and I did have, because it was a mistake of the publishing company, they made a mistake on the front cover. Guys like the version that's out there that's sort of silver, so the girls part is not in your face, that you're reading a girl's book. The guys tend to like that version of the book, but it is written for any founder, not just female founders.
Yeah,
right?
especially the hurdles that you talked about. Now, AJ, you sat on a panel the other day. I saw you post about it. You speak to a lot of women founders. What insights do you have with your engagement with women founders that you could give that would talk to what Kelly's about grit and these other qualities that are really necessary?
Absolutely. I mean, I was on another one last night, which was interesting. So I often find myself in these spaces where I get to bring light to the amazing talent of females bringing their own perspectives to how they build, how they found, what they do. And one of the things that I see as a thread across all of that is when you talk about funding, for example, because all of these women that I've had the opportunity to interview and talk to are all YC-backed alums. So they've gone through the crazy Y Combinator accelerator process, and they're building. And I think what's been really interesting to see is that grit what Kelly just said, like, we don't see the wall or the mountain. There is a way around it, over it, through it, break it apart. And, there was this thing around community that was so important across the thread of everyone that I talked to. Everybody, I think, in this space knows you can't go it alone.
Yeah.
And sometimes what's not always obvious for any founder out there is, who is your community? Who are these people that are going to help you move through what might seem super impossible?
Yeah.
And often in those rooms, what I find that's really lovely is you're one question away from a very different life if you're just curious around what people are actually doing, right? Funding, by the way, the one thing that I love what they say is, like, by the way, when you get the check, that is just when it starts.
Yeah.
It just starts there.
Yeah.
And by the
And
way,
then-
nobody actually writes physical
And you're
checks
exhausted.
anymore.
Exactly.
You're exhausted by the time
Yeah.
you get the check. And it's just at the beginning.
I'll also say too, as a founder, and also, I mean, I've had moms like us on these panels and where we've had these conversations, balancing so much of, you have to sell to the client why the possibility of the product or the problem you're solving is the thing that they need, while in the background having to juggle and manage and lead a team where where all the problems are, but you still have to show up.
Yeah.
And I think that is a crazy context switch that I think as women, because we are wired with empathy in certain ways and nurturing ways also, we're able to really flip that switch into that grit
Yeah.
and say, that is not a mountain, that is not a wall. That is just another checkbox I need to get through.
Well, I want to click on the grit piece and what I see in all three of you and those who are really crushing it versus those who can get stuck sometimes is, I really believe the community is there to kind of bounce ideas off each other. It's like, hey, are you experiencing this problem? You can, but ultimately there's not much delay between kind of huddling up with your team, your community, and then making no excuse and figuring it out. I think a lot of people, I mean, this is men and women included, can get in this loop of making excuses. But
You know what I feel? I feel like, yes, the decisions are hard, but going back to something we talked about, I think the decisions are easier when you're taking care of yourself in the background.
Yes.
I think the decisions become hard when you're not.
Yes.
And so what I was, I sort of had a light bulb go off that when I was, right now I'm getting all the Instagram feeds from Altman and Peter Thiel and Eric Schmidt and all these guys that started companies and jobs and as motivation. And I was like, where are the women?
Wow.
Where are the women's, in some of these posts? And I'd like to see more of that, because I think there is a lot of wisdom gained, and it should be on the oxygen mask on first, and how are we taking care of ourselves so that when those decisions come, and by the way, they don't have to all be made by you. You're not the smartest person in the room all the time. They can be a collaboration with your COO or
It's so much better when it's
or your chief
collaboration.
product
Or
officer.
your CHI officer.
They're your CHI officer, your chief AI officer. Which, can you afford that in a startup?
I mean, you can afford a cup of chai.
Who has that? Yeah, a cup of chai, not an officer, but yeah. So take care of yourself first.
Yeah, so that's a good point. So you're talking about the CHI officer. You're grabbing at that. So that's your chief AI officer. Okay.
Yeah, I was seeing a lot of that.
So
What is that?
We've been having conversations, whether it be on the show, at networking events, at Stack, about, and Transform's been talking about this for the last year. What does it look like to be the leader with AI entering the marketplace, right? Entering the company. What have you seen from startups on up to the bigger corporations for those leading the charge? I was on the call the other day with a VP who raised their hand with Samuel Merritt University, and they're like, we're going to take this on. Just surround us with some smart people and we'll figure it out. From your vantage point, what have you seen that's been working? What has not been working? How many people are actually really faking it? And how many of those of us really have answers? Let me just put that out there.
Yeah, I would say that there's a lot of faking it till you make it going on. I think people 6 to 12 months ago were like, well, yeah, it's coming on the scene, but I can still get by. And people have now said, okay, especially here in this valley, you better be on the AI train or you're going to be off the train altogether. Mm-hmm. And I think the smaller startups, the earlier stage startups, are having an easier time bringing it in, like accepting it, starting there. The larger companies are building these chief AI officers because they can afford it.
They don't know what to do with it.
They don't know what to do with it. Yeah. They don't know what to do with it because it's all actually new and it's changing so fast. Well, AI isn't new, but this in the workforce right now, what do we do? I think everybody's trying to figure it out.
I think that much like, just to use an analogy, we used to have chief DE&I officers, right? But when I asked a company, like, do you need that? Because you operationalized a lot of the core values of that, right? And I think for AI, it's moving fast. Having one person who's all omniscient about how enterprise AI transformation should happen and how it gets operationalized into the organization's bloodstream, mindset, it can't be one person. Okay. And so I think, and we talk about
this. A community of AI people.
Well, we talk about this at the board level too. Like, should we just have one board member who's like all omniscient on AI? And I go, absolutely not. Like, we all need to understand it. Just like when that whole cyber phase came in, we all better understand what a cyber attack means when you're a board member, and we better 100%. Educate ourselves. So I think for a company to have one single person responsible for the AI strategy, implementation, operationalizing it, I think it has to be ingrained across the enterprise.
I do agree that it needs to be ingrained across the enterprise. I think where companies are struggling, though, is if nobody is the owner, then it's like, oh, well, we've got these 5 things happening in this business group and these 5 things happen, and nobody's looking at it across. That's where somebody who's saying, we better have our ducks in a row, and they're not actually 100% responsible for it, but they're driving the charge, I think is important, especially in the larger companies.
Yeah, and I think maybe initially, but I think all of the arms of a big, and I'm talking big organization, not a startup, right, have to figure out the line of sight, operationalize enterprise AI transformation. So there are go-to-market motions that have to change. There are product processes that have to change. And sometimes
customer interaction.
And that's why you see the rise of these committees, right? To make sure that you don't have rogue use cases going on and everybody building their own tools. And I think there was a recent McKinsey study that talked about, you got to know your North Star. It can't just be about tools, right? Otherwise, that's exactly what it is. If it becomes a tool, you lost. So it really has to be operationalized.
I think also, just adding on what both Kelly and Shelly said, ownership should not be on one person. It should be on the mindset of the organization, right? I think about the most innovative companies having had the opportunity to work at one for like nearly 5 years. And the ability, whether it was AI, whether it's whatever is after AI, whatever is after that, it's this mindset of being able to have a really good way to get to know faster. Know as in, like, this is not going to work. How can we iterate? How do we have a really good design of experiment to prove out what is that thing? And you can do this at the large scale enterprises as well, and be able to just really test out whether your assumptions are right before you go and create more budget. I mean, I've been a part of large enterprises where experimenting was, let's get a slideshow to the executive team so we can secure the budget for the next year. That's not an experiment. That's you trying to bake it into your annual operating plan so that you could get a platform on board so you can implement some tool that, to your point, no one's actually going to use. So what are the first principles around why you would want to transform something? Because there's probably companies where you may, and I'm going to probably eat my words here, well, you might not need AI because this is what is needed. And that should be okay too, right? I think there's a duality and openness and curiosity we can have to that, where the human factor does not have to be AI, but maybe the operational factor could be.
And
right?
I really do think like the balance is going to be in the middle. AI is only going to be as good as the humans that are around it and making sure that it's doing the right things. And as we think about this acceleration of technology, really ensuring that humans are always in the mix, always have a say. And as we give agency to systems and tools and agents, we need to ensure that we have agency.
Yeah.
And when I think about like what, even as I mentioned earlier, that I'm on the founding team of an agentic AI company that's building with technology, with humanity in mind. That company is called Polymathic, but it's a stealth name. That is what we have to be looking for. We have to be saying, as we implement tools and as we bring in more and more technology, what is the human element? And how do we ensure that that's where the magic happens?
Is that where because we can talk about the strategy, but ultimately to execute the strategy, you have to have buy-in. It's almost like systematic buy-in. And I think the good first step is, number one, obviously who's leading this charge, but then is that person going to bring in the team, the rest of the board, and slowly create that, for lack of a better word, internal community around this motivation.
Well, is it also resourced? Right? Because you could have somebody who is leading the charge, but they have no resource behind them.
Yeah.
And that's really hard to implement and operationalize, to Kelly's point, right? So it's kind of like how we talked about the chief DEI officers. It was great. You had it there, but there was no budget behind it. And it was kind of everybody's job, but nobody's job at the same time.
No initial buy-in.
So transformation requires you to really think deeply around what are all the vectors, to Kelly's point, around the customer, the product, the people, the organization.
Yeah.
And
What does that look like?
95%, MIT did a study that just really was in the ether. I'm sure you guys know about it. 95% of all AI
fail.
enterprise initiatives fail right now. Yeah. And they're failing because people are trying to build their own solutions that don't scale and tools. They're focused on the tools and not setting out what is the North Star, what are the metrics, and more importantly, that value equation at the end, right? So they decide a business outcome, they evaluate technology, they implement tech, and then they all clap and they go home. And the value creation is actually further along in the cycle. It's how do we reallocate this time that we save? Not everything needs AI. Some of it's automation, some of it's agents, some of it's human. And then what capacity did we create? That's where the value rests. And I think we miss the boat if we say, back to what I said, if it were buying software, we could all go home and all the founders that build software would be rich. But it's just not that simple. I think we got to figure out where's human value, where's AI's value, and how do we actually operationalize that at scale? Those people will win.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. For those of you listening, rewind. Is there a rewind on podcast? Yeah, go back and piece that together.
And I think that, I just would like to also emphasize this idea that there is a place for human beings in the equation, and that we shouldn't just be tossing everybody out with this idea that we only need AI at this point.
I don't think we're ever going to only need AI.
But I think here in Silicon Valley, excuse me for butting in, but I think that there's just this idea that humans are no longer valuable. And in a way, I think the pendulum is going to swing too far in a certain direction.
So I'll just, this will be our kind of transition to the Transform topic.
Perfect.
So the first year I went to Transform, I was just a participant. This is 3 years ago. The next year I went, I had a 10x10, my little Morales HR booth with a little Athena on the side. And then this year, 2025, Athena and I were side by side with a very good presence. We are now moving to a really big presence at Transform last year for several reasons. So we'll have Morales HR, Athena Women's, Athena Alliance, and Zappa. And Zappa is really leveraging, all women led. And the three of us together are a united force. We'll have a large presence in the expo. We are really thinking about, is time running out? How do we really think about where humans play in this AI world, and that it's the magic is in the middle. So,
and it's no accident that we all know each other.
It is no accident.
Are you doing a panel?
Chris,
Are you going to be on a panel?
I'm actually, the three of us are hosting a pre-conference half a day session for special invited
Like
guests.
you three or you three as in the company?
MoralesHR, Athena, and Zappa are hosting we're having a half a day event ourselves, and we have a large presence. And I don't know if I'm on a panel yet, but I would love to do that.
All right, Samara, if you're listening, you.
Yes, Samara, I love her. She is, but I think Transform is for founders. It is for HR leaders. It's for founders, investors, and I encourage everybody to think differently about the places that you go and you spend your time. If you're an HR leader, don't just spend your time with HR leaders. Spend it with engineering leaders and product leaders, and understand what their challenges are, and that's how you'll be a better leader. And the same thing is true for people that are not. I encourage a lot of folks to go to Transform. Think about it differently, because you might be an HR tech product, awesome, but you might be on the periphery. You should think about it as well.
Yeah, and that's I stopped going to a lot of conferences except that one, and I told Samara why. It's because the altitude of the conversation, the level of innovation, the conversations that I would have at that conference. And by the way, if you are a founder, you're going to run into a lot of CHROs there where you don't run into them at the other conferences, because they're looking for I want to drive a higher level conversation. I want to learn. I want to be with innovators, and that's where you find them.
Yeah.
And you can find them.
This community here.
You
of
can also find them Thursday, October 16th in Oakland at 1900 Broadway.
I'm so sad to miss that.
I won't miss it. I'll be
family
there.
gathering.
Yeah. So Shelly and I will be hosting the first East Bay Transform community event at Stack. If you want more information of that, we'll have that also in our show. Our show notes are getting really long. With
1900 Broadway.
And I just want to say, even though Brian's the ambassador for the East Bay, we're actually doing this whole Bay Area thing together. So we'll be hosting some other things. And if founders want to get involved and really understand what's happening in that ecosystem around people, it's a great place to be.
Yeah, a lot of fun. And all three of you have been involved with it for years.
Yeah.
Are you hosting again? Co-hosting?
I'm always at the awards show. If y'all need anything, you know where to find me.
You'll be there.
But I had an opportunity to be the MC at 1 year. I think it was like 2 years ago, which was just a really amazing opportunity. That's actually where we met.
That's where you and I met, yeah.
Yeah, and so Transform is a community where I think I've said before, if you're not here, you're going to meet somebody who's been here. And if you are here, there's chances go up that you might come next year, you're a practitioner, but the next year you're probably a founder or an investor.
Me. That is literally my story.
Exactly.
I've been really curious about the churn of Transform attendees. Like you don't see many people going, or even hear about it going, I'm not coming back.
I'm 100% going, because I would feel so left out.
I know, it's the biggest FOMO of the year.
Yeah.
For sure.
We founded GoodTrouble Ventures backstage while I was emceeing with Queen Cora at Transform.
That was 2024.
That was crazy to be able to say, I think we have enough of the gumption, interest, and passion to go after it and do make that GoodTrouble. And now it's just, you never know.
Yeah.
Right? It will transform you.
And I think that I will say,
Samara's ears are burning right now.
Yeah, Samara's like, we're loving on her, aren't we? But I think the cautionary tale, and one thing I hope that Transform never becomes is they never lose that core value around inspiring people, like what happened to you at that event.
Yep.
And the altitude of conversation.
Yeah.
And sometimes it gets too big, then it loses the connection piece that you were talking about,
But the
Shelly.
thing that I would say about that, Kelly,
I love
is,
it.
yeah, I agree with you. And part of that is on the participants. As the conference grows, if you just go and you just walk around and you expect everything to come to you, it's not.
No.
You need to say, like, I'm going. Who's going? Let's go to these events together. Let's do these things. Let's sit in on a session, and then let's talk about it in a group of 5 or 10 of us. That doesn't have to be, the conference doesn't have to deliver that. What they're delivering is the place and the ecosystem for us to leverage.
To make those connections.
Like the communities.
I've come in many different ways in Transform, as a panelist, as a practitioner, as a musical act, as an MC.
You sang for me
as
this.
entertainment,
Yes.
so you're able to really bring your whole self into it if you want to.
Yeah, I really
know.
think the one thing that Transform has that other conferences don't have, and I've been to a lot, including CES. These are great conferences, very smart, a lot of engagement, but there's no bigger congregation of people who are leading with heart.
Yes.
And when you have the leading with heart, you have creativity, you have collaboration, you have connection, and it just then scales up to, oh yeah, we're all smart people and we can then execute on this together. And I think that's the formula to success for Transform. Before we wind
Can I
this
say one more? Just one more.
Yeah.
Little quick, I promise.
Yeah.
So for our booth this year, we're gonna look for someone that's gonna build something amazing for us. That's super creative, built with heart, that helps us really get the feel of the people that are there. So
Okay.
that'll be fun.
Geez, we can go on and on with this. Okay, before we go, last question. How can people connect with you and what's next for you? And Kelly, I'll start with you.
Well, I like to be uncomfortable and take on challenges. So I think
good
I will
yoga.
probably be an entrepreneur at some point in the very near future.
And you'll come back and talk to us about that a little bit?
Yeah.
Or maybe she'll maybe transform. Who knows?
Yeah, I might transformer.
Entrepreneur, because it's October.
Entrepreneur. Oh, I love. Yeah, so I think there are lots of problems to solve, and there are great people to unite to solve them.
I love it.
Shall we say?
And what's the best people can connect to you? LinkedIn?
LinkedIn, of course. That's probably the easiest way to get to me. And then let's make a real connection after that.
Love it. And Transform should be a Transform for sure.
Yes,
'Cause all three of
I'm
you are
always there.
Yeah.
We're in the water.
All right.
Yeah.
Part of the furniture.
So I would, I also like to say, not only do I have an offer, but I have an ask. So my offer is, if you are looking and you need support, MoralesHR can support you. It's moraleshr.com. If if you are a founder or you know somebody who needs help finding talent, I would say reach out to me. We want the more roles we have, the more people we can help.
Yeah.
That's the MoralesHR side of things. On the polymathic side, we are raising money because we know that what we're building is going to make a difference and change the world. So if anybody's interested in doing early stage investing, reach out to me, because it has some potential legs, as they like to say. And the way to reach out, if you want to reach me, you can reach me at Shelly@moraleshr.com. You can send me a note of course, connect on LinkedIn, but that sometimes gets lost. So that's how I would say best thing to reach me.
I love it. AJ.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, AJ at GoodTrouble.vc if you are a founder in the tech and creativity space, looking to see how we can take you to the next level. If you are just a founder in general and you want to think about the intersection of yourself, wealth, and health, you can contact me. Also, just AJ at thetroublemakerlab.com, thetroublemakerlab.com. And I would say, I do have an ask. I am doing this challenge with myself, because I love to sing, also a musician, for 15 days straight. I am going to be posting a song. You can find me on Instagram at Hello AJ Thomas, but I am taking requests. So 15-day consistently doing something. I have a couple things in there, but just for fun, because I don't take myself too seriously.
You do George Strait. You do it. Never mind. We'll talk about it later.
3 doors down? What?
I love it. All right. 3 powerful ladies. Thank you for joining me
Thanks for
today.
having us.
You guys are
Thank you.
amazing. I'm sure you'll be back with a lot more. But Brian, great show today, man. We got Powerhouse.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right. I want to thank you all for joining us today. Stay safe. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.